Hey, hi there everyone. Welcome to my latest live art broadcast. My name is Todd Nauck, professional comic book artist. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to the Todd Nauck Show. So we're just going to go ahead and get things kind of started as people filter on in, just so that when people watch the rebroadcast, you're not just sitting there looking at me, just staring at the camera, waiting for the subscribers to roll in. And speaking of subscribing, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe to my channel. It only takes you a moment. Click on the bell to change your notification settings if you want to make sure you get notifications when I post new videos or go live. It'll automatically send you a notification so you don't miss it. I try to let people know ahead of time on my other social media, which you can also follow me on. I'm at Todd Nauck on just about everything, especially Instagram and Twitter. So, hey, hello everybody. Thanks for coming in. So good to see everyone. So, what we're doing this time, this is going to be, we're going for the long game here. I've had a lot of people ask, how do you draw a group of characters? Now, we did Spider-Man and Venom last time, episodes 1, 2, and 3, which was a lot of fun to do, and you saw me draw 2 characters. Well, this time with X-Men, we've got a bunch of characters we can pick from. In fact, I've made my list, my dream team list here. I'm not going to be able to fit all these characters on this cover. At least I don't think I can. I might, but maybe I won't. But hopefully I can give you an idea of my approach to how I choreograph or figure out where to put each character, how they relate to each other in their placement on the page. I have a certain thought processes? Is that the right word? Processes? The plural of process? When I approach drawing a large group shot. So I'll try to touch on that as much as possible, and the reasonings why I'm putting certain characters in certain places. Let's see, I'll do my best to answer your questions as you post, as I draw. And as always, I'll try to do a Q&A at the end of the show to catch any questions that I might have missed that you had posted, if y'all are still around. So I appreciate y'all hanging out for as long as possible. I know it's rare for people to make it from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, but those of you that can stick around for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, always glad you're here. Thanks so much. So let's flip the camera around and get to drawing. See, where's the flippy button? There we go. Let's get it plugged back into the rig and the flip around here. So I opened up the sketch cover because I want the double page spread here. I want to be able to do a wraparound cover. So instead of just drawing on the front of the cover, which has been most of my broadcasts, this time more space, fit more characters. Now what I like to do is tape using art tape. Be careful which tape you use. Art tape is good because it shouldn't, sometimes it does, but it's very rare. It won't tear your paper when you peel it off. It won't tear off the corners. Some tapes you might use, if they're not art tape, could tear your artwork. So use art tape. This is what I have here. If we can see here, you can see on the inside there, artist tape. What brand is that? Pro. Apparently it's Pro brand artist tape. I've had this roll for quite some time. So I think I bought several rolls back in the day. I stocked up, and I think I'm on my last roll now. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. So I've taped it down onto cardboard here, so it's not sliding around on my table, or at least the comic book isn't, and it doesn't tear out that middle, the pages from inside the comic, because it's sliding about as I turn the art around. So I tape it to a piece of cardboard, and it also keeps it from getting dirtied or muddied or anything like that. So using my Pentel Twist Erase mechanical pencil, HB lead, 0.5 lead, to start out sketching. So here on my list, sorry we have so much setup and prep, guys and gals. We'll get to sketching here real quick. So you can see here on my list, I got Kitty Pryde, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Rogue, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Wolverine, Storm, Beast, Dazzler, Psylocke, Magic, Gambit, Bishop, Emma Frost, Havoc, Polaris, Angel, Jubilee, Cable, and Rachel Grey. Now there's no guarantee that I'll be able to fit all these characters in. I might add characters other X-Men that I might decide on. This is a list in no particular order aside from Kitty Pryde being number one because she is my favorite. Let's just start kind of sketching in. Now, I probably will only be able to do the sketch stage here in this broadcast. Like I said, with drawing this many characters, it's going to be a long haul sort of broadcast. So we're going to go step by step, and hopefully it'll be fun. So one thing I want to keep in mind is the center here. A rule of thumb is not to ever put a face right there in the center where it folds. Unless you have a very specific design, don't put the face on the fold. It looks very unpleasing to the eye unless it's a very specific reason why you're doing it. Especially for the interiors, if you're drawing a double page spread in a story, don't put it in the gutter because when it gets collected in trade paperback, the face gets lost inside the fold. It's very unappealing for your reader. But in general, I try to keep away from putting a face right there on the fold of the spine. Spine, that's the word. So I'm going to, considering what the logo is here, I'm going to start with one character. Now I don't know which era costumes I'm going to be drawing just yet. It might be a mismatch of all my favorite era costumes. So right now we're just going to start with one character here. I'm going to put Wolverine front and center. I'm roughing in the mask just for, at the very least, to let myself know, hey, that's going to be Wolverine. So he's going to kind of be our anchor between the right and the left side, much like a Twix candy bar. So I'm just going to block out the shapes is key. And I'm penciling kind of lightly in case I need to erase and reposition someone. As you can see, I'm using the shape of each muscle group, like the pectoral muscles, kind of these rhombus type shapes. The rib cage, the abs, the arm muscles here, down to the fist. Would I like to visit Iceland? Absolutely. There are sadly no Comic Cons. So I'm sorry to hear that. But would I like to visit Iceland? Absolutely. My wife and I love to travel. Maybe we'll make it there someday, despite there being an unfortunate lack of Comic Cons at this time. So getting some claws in there. And his fist. So I see the thumb, the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. Knuckles, and then the claws would kind of come here. And this will all get tightened up when necessary. Right now, and this is actually pretty tight just for a little rough sketch that I really kind of showed y'all quite a bit of the hand and forearm muscles there. What is my favorite X-Men team, 80s or 90s? I like both a lot, but I'd probably have to say my favorite is the 80s. From the pre-Mutant Massacre through Inferno. That's my favorite era. That's when I was a kid, a teenager, and so those were the X-Men comics that were my jam. Now, I kept reading X-Men into the 90s, so I loved the Jim Lee era and all that sort of stuff, Mutant Genesis, whatnot. So definitely enjoy those eras as well, but to say favorite, I'm an 80s kid, so I'm going to say 80s X-Men. But that's not to say I don't love the other eras also. Belt buckle. Right on, you use the same technique I do, that's great. Who's my absolute favorite character to draw? Absolute favorite character to draw. I don't know if I can say I have an absolute favorite character. If I did, I'd probably have to say X-Men because it's been my favorite comic since I started reading comics as a teenager. But I like drawing different characters for different reasons. I like different costumes, different power sets, different personalities. So those all come into play in my character choices and what I like to draw. So I can't say that I have one absolute favorite character to draw, because if it was just that one, I'd probably get bored of drawing just that one. So I like to draw all sorts of characters, whether it be Marvel, DC, my creator-owned stuff. Oh, you like the Scarecrow character I created? Jack-O-Lantern. Yes, Jack-O-Lantern. He's my new creator-owned character. If y'all haven't read his first strip, you can see it on my Instagram, at Todd Nauck on Instagram, or at Todd Nauck on Twitter. It's on there. It's probably easier to find on Instagram, but it's on both those places and on the Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. All right, and then the other hand here. So we got Wolverine. Now I like my Wolverine the way he was originally created to be, short and stocky. Now I definitely like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but Wolverine is not supposed to be 6 feet tall. He's supposed to be like 5'1", something like that, roughly. I mean, Kitty Pryde is supposed to be taller than Wolverine. So I like to keep mine short and stocky and a little bit of like a little mini tank. Not quite the tall drink of water that we've come to know him to be through the movies. Which I'm not against, because that's the movie version, but I don't feel the comic version. At least I prefer my comic version to be the shorter, stockier Wolverine. All right, so we got Wolverine there. Let's see who. So now I get to decide who goes on each side. How do I fill up the space now? So let's see. Just start to rough in some heads. Not sure who's going to go where, but I can start to. So this will probably be Colossus back here, and someone will have to go here. Someone here. Let's see. A couple of characters over here, someone here, and then probably have Storm flying, so maybe Storm's up here. I should draw the Netflix Daredevil. Maybe I will someday. I have to actually watch the show someday. I have not had time to watch any of the Marvel Netflix shows. Still, after all this time, I still have not watched the Marvel Netflix shows. It's just so much in the queue, you know? Let's see, and then maybe I could put Angel up here, maybe Iceman on an ice slide. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. It's not just you just always immediately just jump right into it and nail it. You got to really think it through. So see, I'm going to put Kitty, 1, because she's my favorite X-Man, and 2, she, her friendship with Wolverine. She was kind of Wolverine's kind of kid sidekick before Jubilee came on the scene. Now, Wolverine's in the foreground, so everyone's going to get smaller as we move to the background. So I'm keeping in mind kind of where I kind of imagine the horizon line here, and that's how everyone's setting on it, and they move further and further back. Someone asked about the Spawn color video. I didn't read the whole question. I just saw Spawn and colors. That video posts tomorrow, Saturday, 10 p.m. Pacific time. 1 p.m. Is that 1 p.m.? 1 p.m. Eastern. Can I please add Forge? I do like Forge a lot. No guarantee I can fit him in, especially with the amount of space I have here. But thanks for representing for your favorite X-Men character. Yeah, he's great. And he's from my home state/town, Dallas, Texas. Add Godzilla or someone comparable. Okay, how about Colossus? Would he be comparable? He's about the biggest X-Man I can fit on this, or have intention of fitting on this sketch cover. What about Rogue or Beast? Can you put them in? They're on my list, yep. Greetings from California. Thank you. Appreciate that. Put in Deadpool or an Easter egg of him. Interesting. Well, I do have Cable on my list, though I don't know if Cable's going to make it. Oh, let's see. Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler will fit nicely in here because he could put him in a crouching sort of stance. Or I could have him teleporting. And he's best pals with Wolverine, so he should be near Wolverine. We're going to put him on Nightcrawler on this side. But I'm going to put him low and crouching to allow for more room for the characters that I plan to put there, which might be Cyclops and Jean Grey over here. What did I think of the New Mutants trailer? I don't know. I don't watch movie trailers of movies that I am interested in seeing because I think that the trailers sometimes can give away too much information. Not necessarily spoilers, though some can give away spoilers, like the Batman versus Superman trailer. At least I felt one of the characters they showed in there was a spoiler. I didn't need to. I would have rather have been surprised by that in watching the actual movie. So I don't watch trailers, mostly for the Marvel character movies or the Star Wars movies, because you don't have to convince me to go see a Marvel movie, even though I guess X-Men aren't really Marvel movies, they're Marvel characters in Fox movies, but or Star Wars, come on. Like you have to convince me to go see a Star Wars movie? Nah. You just tell me what date it's coming out and I'll be there. Or as soon as I can, I'll be there. Let's see, 3 fingers. Got his body coming back this way. What do I think of DC Metal? Haven't had a chance to read it yet. So I don't have any thoughts on DC Metal. What do you think of it? Thigh coming up here as he's crouching in his Nightcrawler way. Who is my favorite character in Star Wars? Man. I like so many characters in Star Wars. I grew up with the original 3, episodes 4, 5, and 6. So Han, Chewie, Luke, Leia, R2, 3PO. I mean, they're all awesome. So I can't say I have one favorite character. Might change the position of that hand, but it's a good placeholder for now. Let's see, then put his tail. Coming in through here. Yep, Vader. Vader, definitely a favorite, one of my all-time favorite villains. What's my favorite Star Wars movie? I don't have a favorite Star Wars movie. Necessarily. I've actually seen the movie so many times, especially episodes 4, 5, and 6. I've seen them so many times that I now have more favorite parts of movies. Like I love the Creature Cantina or the Jabba Palace scenes. I love the Bespin fight or the Hoth scenes in Empire. So I can't say I necessarily have a favorite movie as much as it is I have favorite parts of movies. All right, so we got Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde. I'm not sure which hairstyle to give Kitty Pryde because I don't know if I'm drawing current Kitty Pryde or classic Kitty Pryde. So it could go either way. Let's see. Let's work in the characters here on this side. So we might have them in kind of a danger room or expansion sort of thing there. Put in Beast. Beast is on my short list here. Hopefully he'll make the cut. So we're gonna work on Cyclops here. I need Cyclops. He's right here. So some of y'all probably have just tuned in, so you didn't hear me rattle through my list. I'll even just put the list right here that y'all can read. Now, not to say those are all guaranteed to show up or other characters won't be added to this illustration, though space-wise, it doesn't look like I'm going to get to be able to do more than maybe a dozen characters. But many of the popular characters and my personal favorites, or many of my personal favorites, some of my personal favorites, who are a little bit more obscure, probably definitely will not be making this cover. I doubt we'll see Warlock from the New Mutants on here, but you never know. But I feel fairly confident that I will not have room for Warlock. This isn't an issue. This is a one-of-a-kind illustration, so this issue will not come out. This is not for a professional comic book. This is for one for the fun of doing it, and for my channel here. So this will not be a comic that you can go out and purchase a copy of. You can get a copy of All New X-Men issue 22 sketch cover. You could probably track down a copy on eBay or Amazon, but you will not be able to buy a comic that has this image on the cover. This is a one-of-a-kind illustration. But do feel free to buy the comics that I draw, like Spider-Man Deadpool issues 21 and 22. They're in stores now. And this next Wednesday, my Thor one-shot, Thor Where Walks the Frost Giants, will be in the stores. It's classic era Thor, like Kirby era, Walterson, Simonson era Thor. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun to draw. All right, so we're getting Cyclops figured out here. Just to give him something different to do, we'll have his hand up here touching his, or about to touch his visor. Is my new con commission request method the one on my website? Yes. So that's what it will be for my 2018 convention appearances, at least for now. Do stay tuned to toddnauck.com, especially check in about a week before the convention to make sure there haven't been any updates or changes. Things could change. Things are subject to change, but generally, sending me an email with the secret code word the night before that day of the convention is how you get on my list. It's only the night before that specific day. I do not take my list for the entire weekend over one day. And sometimes, if there's time, I do take on a few pre-con commissions if I do have the time for it. That's not always guaranteed, but that's why you want to stay tuned to my website for updates, because maybe you can get a pre-con studio commission and save yourself some hassle for con weekend, having it already drawn and ready to go. All right, so we got Cyclops roughed in pretty well there. Now let's get Jean. Let's see what I did here. Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean Grey in the middle. Oh, love triangle. See, I'm telling a story right now. Oh, but Gina's her body faces Cyclops, but her head is turned a little bit towards Wolverine. Oh, what is Jean thinking? Oh, is she torn between two men who vie for her affections? The answer is maybe so. Get that Jean Grey flip that start at the hair and whoop, there goes the hair, there go the bangs. Oh, and then got to put her hand up by this temple here as she's using her psi powers. I don't want every character just standing there with their fists down and hanging down or hands on hips, because then everybody would be in the same pose, and that would be kind of boring, or at least for me to draw, it might be boring for y'all to look at if everyone's in the exact same pose. So sometimes you just put the character in the pose that would be like Nightcrawler. It's his personality to be all creepy crawly and night crawling. He's very feral in that sense. I don't know if feral's the right word, but that's the word I'm going with for now, because my brain is so much into sketching. So Cyclops, about to touch his visor to shoot off an optic blast. Jean, angle her hand in a different position so it doesn't look just like Cyclops's. Now, for those of y'all just tuning in, this is a huge, well, probably the biggest illustration I've done for my channel to date. I've never drawn this many characters in an art video or broadcast. I think my max has been 2, maybe 3. I think 2. So we're probably only going to be getting the layouts done today. And it might be several videos to pencil it, several videos to ink it, and several videos to color it. So this is a multi-chapter, multi-episode live broadcast illustration. So, and if you ever miss the live broadcast, know that you can always come back to watch the rebroadcast. Unless something weird happens with YouTube and the saving the video, then it should always be on my channel to come back to rewatch. And I also put them in a dedicated playlist of YouTube live broadcasts. I'm sorry if I've been missing so many questions here while I'm talking about either my process or things like that. So let's see, Colossus up here. Maybe he's got a fist out over here. So see, just simple little rectangles. Are you going to draw the MCU Iron Spidey? Maybe someday. No plans at the moment, but you never know what the future holds. Put this other fist up over here, just so we can see more of Colossus. And it also puts him in a different pose than the other characters. Colossus has been one of my longtime favorite X-Men. He's probably, I guess Wolverine was my first favorite X-Men as a little kid, but then I quickly switched to Colossus. Wolverine is, I remember discovering him on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. That was my first exposure to the X-Men. And that was the first time I saw Wolverine, and I thought, oh my gosh, a dude with claws. He's cool. He's from Canada, but has an Australian accent. Oh my gosh, what's his story? Oops, I just missed a question there about if I had the opportunity. If you'd like to repost that, please feel free. So, okay, and I can put somebody up over here. Make a little note to myself, put somebody over there. So we got Wolverine, Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Colossus. You like Nightcrawler the most? Right on. It reminds you of an Alan Davis sketch cover. That is a huge compliment because he's one of my top 4 foundational influences. So I can mark off here on my list. I got Kitty, I got Colossus, got Nightcrawler, got Cyclops, got Jean Grey, got Wolvie. Is that where we're at so far? For the most part, yes. So let's see who else. Now let's see. Who to put where? Let's see. Excuse me. So we got Kitty. Oh, you should put Jubilee down here. Did I have Jubilee on my list? Yes, I did. I did have Jubilee. Jubilee. So let's see. We're going to put Jubilee. Jubilee's kind of peeking in from the corner here. Maybe she's blowing a bubble. Oops, let me Speaking of peeking in from the corner, I should slide the cover over so y'all can see what I am drawing. She's got her big old shades on. Have her hair flip over this way so it doesn't eat up too much real estate where I'll be putting characters. Which this might be Gambit and Rogue right here. Unless that might change. If I have opportunity to bring, I keep missing your question. That was the second time, at least second time I saw you post that. I appreciate your patience. So much focus here on the art, it's hard to look back here to the phone. Could I see anyone else playing the role of Wolverine other than Hugh Jackman? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it'll be hard for us to transition, but Iceman and Beast, they're on the list. But you know, there are a lot of great actors out there. We've had multiple people play Batman, so I believe we can have multiple people play Wolverine, Cyclops, Iron Man. We've had multiple people play Spider-Man. So yeah, we can definitely have someone new play Wolverine. I mean, Hugh Jackman did it for a lot of years, and he's done. You know, he's ready to move on, and so it's not like they fired him, and so now we're forced to have someone new. He did his time, and I do not like how Jubilee is fitting together here. So she's using up too much real estate. Sorry, Jubes. We love you, but we got to leave room for some other characters here. And just a little too big at the moment. And I didn't like the angle you were at. Sorry. Nothing personal. Nothing personal. Did I sketch moving the whole arm, or I missed the other part? I sketch however I feel comfortable. Whatever gets the job done is essentially how I sketch. Sometimes it's moving the whole arm. Sometimes it's just moving part of the arm. Sometimes I just do it with my mind. Got to practice that telekinesis. Magic is on my list. Yep. I don't know if y'all can see the list. I don't know if y'all can read that from where it's at, but boy, a lot of people are asking about Iceman and Beast, unless it's the same person asking about Iceman and Beast. And Iceman and Beast are on my list. Will they make it on the cover? We'll see. That goes for any X-Man. There's no guarantees who can or will make it. I definitely know I can't get everyone on my list there. Are these poses coming just from my head? Yes. Yes, they are. They are. Let's see. I wanted to put Jubilee here. I think I'm going to rethink that. All right. I got to figure out what I want to do with this corner. Magic by Kitty, please. They are besties. They are besties. And I did consider putting Magic over here by Kitty. And maybe I will do just that. Now, they're not going to be right next to each other. But what if I put Magic up here? Let's see. Kitty's facing this way. Wolverine's facing that way. Means I have to move Storm over. Storm. Let's see. What if I put Magic here? We have her Soul Sword. Gotta have the Soul Sword, you know what I'm saying? Tom Hardy is Wolverine? What did Tom Hardy do? I can't remember who Tom Hardy is. All I can think of is Hardy's fast food restaurants. He's not the founder of Hardy's, is he? I know that name, and when y'all say, oh, he's this guy in this movie, I'll be, oh, of course. The hardest X-Men character that I've ever drawn, Galactus. I know he's not an X-Men character, but he's just that hard. He actually gets... What X-Men movie should be made? I'm down for whatever. Oh, he's Bane from Batman. Oh, okay, I didn't see that movie. I didn't see that one. After, what's the one with the Joker? Was it? It's not. Is that? I forget the names of the Batman movies, but it was the second one with Christian Bale. That one was such the one with Heath Ledger. That one was such an emotional drain that it actually turned me off on the Batman movies. I have not seen a Batman movie since then. Though I did start Lego Batman movie, and I'm really liking that. I'm up to the part where Bruce adopts Dick Grayson. So Dark Knight, that's right, the Dark Knight. So that one is right now my favorite Batman movie. Will Arnett as Batman, hilarious, love it. So I borrowed the DVD from a friend's son, actually, and so I need to actually just tune in and watch it. All right, so Magic, and then Storm. Up here. Flying. I want to be careful how, oops. I want to be careful how Illyana's soul sword, we'll kind of have her looking down because she's a bit surly. Let's see, when penciling a comic, do people come up with everything on the spot from your head, or do you... I'm sorry. Oh, those questions were too long. I couldn't read them. I didn't catch them in time. But when I draw a comic, I work with a writer, and they write the story, and then I tell that story visually. So it's very collaborative in that sense. So we don't want to create a tangent with Illyana's sword and Storm's arm. I want to be careful how those two either intersect or line up. Got to be very thoughtful about that so it doesn't look weird or create a weird mixing of the lines to where it's like a tangent. Now, I don't know if y'all have heard people talk about tangents. It's like, so you have the line of the sword here and say Storm's hand goes right there next to it. That's a tangent. That's bad. You do not want that to happen. Editors will bust you on that. Especially if you're trying to bake your in, they go, oh, watch your tangents, watch your tangents. So it's when lines intersect or line up with each other in an unappealing way. You don't want them lining up so perfectly that they become one line. This may be another way of putting that. Let's see. Is this double page spread the front and back of the cover or just the front? It is the front and the back. This is the front. Here are the staples. And this is the back. Yep. Is it more important to develop sketching or should you move on to inking? Well, it depends on what your goals are. Do you want to be an inker? Then yeah, learn your inking. If you want to be a storyteller, if you want to be the one that takes the plot, comes up with the visuals, draws everything out, at least in pencil, then yeah, you want to work on your sketching, your storytelling, your penciling skills. That's what I did. And then I added inking later. When I was trying to break in, I was trying to do penciling and inking. And a pro, I showed him my portfolio and he said, dude, you got a lot going on here. He goes, which do you like better? I go, well, penciling. He goes, then just try to break in as a penciler. Add inking later. Because right now your inking skills aren't on par with your penciling skills, the direction you're going with your penciling skills. So it's actually your portfolio is weakened by having your inks in there right now. So I took all the inks out, just showcased my portfolio as pencils to be a pencil artist, and just focused on that. And then after years of being a penciler, I finally developed my inking skills to a point where I felt comfortable taking on inks. So Storm right there. I want to be careful how I draw in her cape because I don't want it to use up so much real estate that we can't fit in other characters appropriately. So let's see. But ultimately, if you want to be a comic book artist, learn you gotta start telling stories. Don't just draw cool shots like this. You gotta learn how to be able to do this. But you got to be able to tell a story. So start telling stories. I started doing that at age 14 for practice, not professionally. Age 14, I was nowhere near being ready. But I just started doing it so I could learn how to do it. And that's kind of the way how I learn is I learn by making mistakes, by failing upwards, by trying, failing, and trying again. And so just do it. You don't have to like learn it, then all of a sudden you're good at it. You just You learn it by doing it and learning from your mistakes. All right, so boop, boop, boop. We got Storm and Magic on here. I can mark off Magic. We can mark off Storm. Need to unmark Jubilee since she has been edited out for the moment. Not to say she won't still end up in the finished piece. Have I ever tried using a grip held... I couldn't understand your question. I'm sorry. Is drawing consistently just practice? Yes. In my opinion, yes. Yes, it is. Draw consistently. Draw every day. That is practice. Now you can have specific practice where it's like, I'm going to practice drawing eyes. I'm going to practice drawing muscles. Ugh, pardon me, my throat's getting dry from all this talking. I might have to have a drink of water soon. Or you can just practice by, I'm just going to have fun drawing. That's what I did as a kid. I just practiced by having fun. Just drew, kept drawing, draw again, draw some more. Finish this drawing, let's draw another one. Keep on drawing. Every illustration is a drop in your bucket, is a step on your journey to becoming a good artist. The more you are drawing, the more drops you're putting in your bucket, the more steps you're taking on your journey. Is line work very important to being a comic book artist? That's an interestingly worded question. In a sense, yes. Yes, it is. One, if you're working with an inker so they can translate your vision. Two, if you're doing your own inks, then you want to make sure your line work is clean. Now, it doesn't have to be clean. You can have a dirty, gritty, sort of sketchy style, but it's got to be consistent. It's got to be cohesive. It's got to be intentional. It's got to be intentional. So yeah, you want to be intentional with your line work, whatever your style is, whether it's a Bernie Wrightson kind of style, or a Jim Lee kind of style, or a painterly Alex Ross kind of style, whatever it is. Whatever style you develop, you want to be deliberate, you want to be consistent. Doesn't mean you don't evolve and change and grow, but you want it to be cohesive. Bonjour! Bonjour to you, mes amis. Let's see. So I'm trying to figure out who to put here. What do I need to do there? Do you need to go to college to be a comic book artist? Not necessarily, no. Not everyone who's broken into the business has a college degree. I chose to go to art school because I wanted to get my art skills more professional faster, and it paid off because I got hired a year after I graduated art school. So for me, it definitely worked. But not everyone has those resources or that budget, so you got to make the choice that's right for you. You know, I'm going to put Beast down here. I'm going to have a Crouching Beast. Crouching Beast, Hidden Iceman. Because people have been asking for Beast and Iceman, and I made a reference to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. See what I did there? No. Iceman will not be hidden. Deadpool might be hidden. Someone had mentioned putting in a Deadpool Easter egg. So we're going to put Beast down here. Beast is one of my favorites. Right now I'm just defaulting to classic X-Men 92, 80s, early 90s Beast with the Wolverine hair and the pointy ears. I was never a big fan of Cat Beast. You know, when Beast morphed or mutated into that cat version, I was so used to the Beast I grew up with that I just couldn't, not that I didn't like the Beast or anything as Cat Beast, but just visually, he just wasn't my favorite. Not to say that the artists weren't drawing him well, they were drawing him beautifully as Cat Beast. Please don't confuse those thoughts, but got him his hands resting on his thighs here in his squatting, crouching sort of pose. Of course, now that I've drawn him as big as I have, he's actually too big in relation to Kitty. I don't want to draw him overlapping her because Kitty would disappear. So Beast, I drew you too big. We gotta size you down, pal. Size you down. And this is why we rough things in and pencil sketch lightly so that we can make an edit easily when we realize, whoops, that's not fitting together right. This is why we work in this way. This might not be as glamorous or as exciting as seeing the finished pencil lines, sweet ink lines, vibrant colors going down, but I thought, yeah, it's important for y'all to see how things are constructed and why choices are made. How has that been for me? How has what been for me? So, we got, this is all part of the process. I wanted to let y'all in on the process. For those of y'all who want to be comic book artists, hopefully this is a benefit for you to see how things are constructed. And this will probably just be what this video is for this broadcast. It's just the construction video. Because there's so much going on, so much when drawing a bunch of characters. Once I get Beast roughed in here, I'll point out something that I don't think I've addressed yet. So I'll have this little bit of information for you here in just a moment. His other thigh, knee, much better. Now he's bigger than Kitty. I mean, physically his proportions are larger than Kitty, but the way I'd first drawn him, he was too big in relation to Kitty on the plane that they were at. I needed to have him a little bit behind her because I already established her so far here in the foreground. Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that you find my art inspirational and that you're drawing as well, and I love your X-Men Evolution Rogue profile pic. X-Men Evolution, probably my favorite of all the X-Men cartoons. Really loved that cartoon. Loved that it ran for about 5 seasons. Had New Mutants in there. And I really loved the design and the story. See, and then the hand over here. So this arm's going back here. And then a hand resting on this thigh. You know how Beast does that? How he kind of crouches and it's almost like he almost takes like a coach's position. You know, a knee up, hand on the thigh, sort of. All right, team, gather round, sort of thing. I mean, he is a teacher. He is probably, in many senses, a coach to the later classes of X-Men. All right, so there we go. Beast, happy with where you're at now. So those of you asking, Beast, Iceman, Beast, Iceman, Beast, Iceman, halfway there. Beast, boom. He's in the pick. We've locked him in. So, one thing I wanted to point out here is size relations. When you're putting together a big image like this, what can be really fun and interesting for your viewers is having something really big in the foreground, and then you move to something smaller in the background. The size of Wolverine versus the size of Storm is vastly different. It's giving your viewer something for their eyes to play with. Wolverine down to Nightcrawler, then back to Cyclops, then over to Jean, then back to smaller to Colossus. Colossus is probably one of the biggest X-Men, biggest sized X-Men, but he's further in the background. We make him smaller, but we're creating a sense of distance and depth. And you're giving the viewer's eyes, oh, whoa, you look at this and initially you go, dude, Wolverine, he's so huge, he's right there. And then you're going, oh, but there's Kitty, oh, there's Storm, oh, there's Nightcrawler down there. And you give the viewer something to look at and bounce about. So size relation can be really critical and very exciting and dynamic when putting together a large group. Consider putting somebody in the foreground, putting somebody further in the background. Not to say this is a 100% do this every time rule, but it is something to keep in mind and make sure eyes travel. Thank you. That's a very good way of putting it. Make the viewer's eye travel across the page. And consider which directions characters are facing. Wolverine's kind of at us, but a little bit to the right. Nightcrawler's, his body is to the right, but his face is the same direction as Wolverine. Cyclops' body, body is facing this way, but his face is up this way. Each character's body and face, I try to alternate it. I try to keep in mind if I feel something's too repetitive, then I rework it. I try to just a little bit. Like Illyana, have her face down where Kitty's face is more up. I'm considering personalities. Kitty's going to be more hopeful. She's the leader. She's, in many ways, kind of the spirit of the X-Men. Where, I don't know if spirit's the right word. Maybe she's kind of like the heart of the X-Men. But I consider Nightcrawler the heart of the X-Men. They're both the hearts. X-Men are like a Time Lord, and they have two hearts, and that's Kitty and Nightcrawler. But Illyana, she's more of a cranky, surly sort of character. She's dark and gloomy. Her head's going to be faced down. So these are things I keep in mind. The character's personality or their spirit. What makes them uniquely them? How do I capture their personality? These are just some of the many things that we as comic book artists have to think about. Not just the shapes, but the personalities, color schemes. The X-Men are mostly blue, yellow, and red. Mostly blue and yellow in many of the cases because of their initial school costumes, uniforms. But not really considering so much the colors as much because there are so many. And I don't know which costumes are which. So I'm really just going off on character, personality, power sets, size, placement, things like that. But I also sometimes consider the costume colors. Because you don't want to have character in red, then blue, green, and like so all your reds are in one corner. That would be not as appealing to the eye. So I'm hoping I'm not drawing myself into a situation here where I've put all my reds in a corner. But I can determine that when I go to the costume stage, which will be a future broadcast. So, ink it, man. Oh, I will be inking this. Be sure to tune in several broadcasts, because right now this is just the sketch stage, and we still have the pencil broadcasts, multiple casts to come, because it might take me a while to pencil this. So, we need to figure out who to fill up in here. Saw someone mention I should draw Iceman dropping a snowball on Beast's head. That's a fun idea. I'm thinking I want to put Rogue and Gambit here. That's why I was really thinking, oh, you know, and now I'm rethinking that. See, I wanted to put Iceman on an ice slide up here. You're already drawing stories of your existing characters. Excellent, excellent. Keep doing that. See, I've got 1, 2, 3 girls here. I want to put a guy here and then a girl here. Well, I guess I'll have Silent. Yeah, let me double check my list. Who have I not drawn yet? Iceman. Dazzler. Oh, Dazzler. Yeah, it's one of my all-time faves. Psylocke, Gambit, Bishop, Emma Frost, Havoc, Polaris, Angel, Jubilee, Cable, and Rachel. Rachel, another fave. Let's see. Forte. Will Forte. I should put Will Forte in here. No one would expect that. Former Saturday Night Live cast member Will Forte. Dude, I like the way you think. I like the way you think. Maybe I could put Annie Potts in here too. Janine from the Ghostbusters. Who else could I put in here? Truman Capote. So, let's see. Okay, so I want to put a dude here. How about Bishop? Bishop would fit really nicely here. Got his gun here, or his rifle. His space age rifle. Thunderbird, Havoc. Yeah. Probably won't be putting Thunderbird on here because he kind of only had one adventure. Probably be more inclined to draw Warpath than I would Thunderbird. But I'd probably draw Warpath more on a X-Force type piece. Which is probably why Cable won't make it into this one either. What about Dupe? No, Dupe will not be on this one. Sorry, Dupe. He'd be easy to fit, just put a little green blob on here. But yeah, no plans for Dupe. Sorry, Dupe. You didn't make the cut, you little green blob of weirdness. I say that affectionately. Spike? Nah, I probably will not be putting Spike in here. I'm going more with the comic book version. Though I do love X-Men Evolution, probably will not be putting Spike in here. I do not like how Bishop's fitting there together. His arm is super stiff, and I hate that. Take that arm out. Let's rework that. Again, this is why we rough things out. Let's have him holding the gun a different way. Looks like I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm kind of almost done with the layouts, but we got a long way to go to draw this bad boy. This one's going to be a multi-broadcast image here. It's going to take I say a long time, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take a good while to get this one done because there are so many characters. But since you weren't here for the top of the show, the reason why I'm doing this one is because many people have asked in the past, how do you draw a multi-character image? So I am giving you just that, multi-character image. Look at this. We have so many X-Men going into this. So many X-Men for this piece, but that's still just a scratching the surface of how many X-Men could be drawn on this. All right, so we got Bishop here. Sometimes I'll put a little initial on there, like I put a B there, I put a KP here, so I remember Kitty Pryde, W, Wolverine, M, Magic. Sometimes it gets so many characters on there, I need to have some sort of code to remind myself who's who. All right, so let's put Rogue and Gambit right up here. Now I'm assuming that there's some sort of tiered levels that they're all on. Professor X? No Professor X for this one. Right now I'm considering him either dead or MIA still. So no X for this one. Okay, Gambit, we have put Gambit right up here, and I'm not, oh wait. His staff, changing the angle of Storm's cape flow, just so it doesn't, like I said earlier, use up too much of the space. To where I do want it to cut behind Wolverine's mask here, just design-wise. Kind of anchors the two together, but not in a tangent sort of way. Because his mask is cutting up this way, her cape is cutting across that way. I want to say thanks to everyone who's posting questions. Sorry, I'm missing so many. Will you do a villains cover next? I don't know what I'll be doing next, but is there a possibility of doing a villains cover? There's always a possibility. Are there plans? Not at the moment. But you never know what the future holds. Right now I'm focused on getting this one done over the next many broadcasts to come. Oh, sorry we gagged there a little bit. Sorry we gagged. We're back. Rogue's hair there. So we can mark off Bishop, Rogue, Gambit, let's see, you know what? Go put Dazzler over here. Look at there. Just like seeing all the graphite coming off onto my hand there. Sometimes when that happens, I just put a piece of paper down, I can rest my palm on so that I'm not smudging so much. There we go. So how's everybody doing? I hope I haven't lost too many of you. Is Gina in the drawing? Yes, she is. She's over on the right-hand side of the page. We'll do another roll call here a little bit later on. But yeah, she's on the right-hand side next to Cyclops. Let me put my checklist of y'all can, so y'all can see who I have planned to try to fit in this cover. Am I running out of lead? This is a great time to be I am running out of lead. One moment, gang. I gotta refill the mechanical pencil. Is that? No, that's HP3 lead. So sorry, gang. Technical difficulty here. Did not expect to run out of lead. There we go, there's my 0.5 lead. Got to put all my tools away. For my refills, keep them all in an envelope that the order comes in from the, so right here you just get these little packs of mechanical lead. I guess technically this is my first unboxing video. Welcome. Drop some lead into the, wait, gotta take the top back off. Drop about 5 or 6 pieces of lead in there. Boom, we're good to go. Don't want to put all the lead that's in here into the pencil. It won't all fit. Put that away later. Click, 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 click. There we go. All right, I don't like that Dazzler pose yet. Difficulty drawing dogs, any advice? Hopefully you're using photo reference. Sometimes if I have a difficulty drawing an animal, I'll go into like Michael's craft stores and buy like a little PVC statue of the animal. Did that when I had to draw a cow for an issue of Invincible Universe, and it really made drawing the animal easier because I could look at it from all sorts of different angles. Same when I had to draw Le Bruiser for Invincible Universe. I bought a couple of PVC dog statues, little figurines, that I could look at the dog from any angle needed. All right, I want to put Dazzler there, but I'm not capturing her personality, and that's just not right. Sorry, Beast, didn't mean to erase your hair. Let me put your hair back on. Any mechanical pencil will work. That is correct, yes. In fact, some will work so well, like my Pentel Twist Erase here. I'll end up using it for like years and years and years. I've used this pencil for so long, I don't even remember when I got it. But it had to have been at least 10 years ago. At least it feels like it was 10 years ago. Glad you can make it? Yeah. It's never too late. Never too late. Okay, we're going to put an arm up. That's Dazzler. Arm up so her light shining. Hi, you're welcome for the advice. Is there any chance I'll be drawing Transformers in a future broadcast? No plans at the moment, though I do love the Transformers. I'm a G1 kid, so growing up in the 80s, can't help but be G1. So, who knows? Maybe someday I will do a Transformers broadcast or art video, but no plans at the moment. But that's not to say plans won't come about or change. There we go. That's more Dazzler. What do I think is the hard part of the human body to draw? It depends on where you're at. When I was younger, noses were the hardest thing. Then there was a time where knees were very difficult for me. And then there was a time where back muscles were very difficult and challenging. So there's always, it just depends on where you're at and in your art journey. But for me, it all started off with noses were the hardest thing for me to draw. So Dazzler, marked you off. So, not sure which hairstyle, but it'll probably be longish. Let's see. Got a rogue there. See, right here. Put a dude. Do I have any dudes left besides Iceman and Angel? Let's see, Cable. Man, I might be able to fit some extra X-Men in here at this rate. Oh, Havoc. Let's put Havoc right over here. Now this is, for those of you just tuning in, and for those of you watching the rebroadcast, so sorry you have to hear this over and over again, but this is just a sketch layout video broadcast. We will not have a completed image, nor will we have really completed pencils in this broadcast. It is just breaking things down. This will be a multi-part series. And because there are so many characters, it'll be quite a bit to get there. Probably a couple of videos to do pencils, a couple of videos to do inks. It all just depends on how much time it takes to draw these characters. This is a big one. This really is a big project we've taken on here. So it's going to happen over the course of many broadcasts. So you can always tune in to which parts you want or like or want to see. So let's see. Put some circles there so I know that this is Havoc. Yes, that's definitely what I want there. Havoc, you're off the list. So now I still have Iceman, Angel, still got a lot of space. So just do a quick checklist here. Where's my brush? Did I lose my brush? I did lose my brush. Just use the back of my hand there. So we've got Wolverine here, front and center. Down here to Nightcrawler, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Colossus. Over to Kitty Pryde, Magic, Storm, Beast, Bishop, Dazzler, Havoc, Rogue, and Gambit. So quite a bit going on so far. Quite a bit. Let's move over here and let's draw Angel. Let's give Angel this chunk of real estate. Plenty of space for his wings. Actually, I need to give my eye a break from this side. Come over here where it's something completely different for me to look at. Now, this could end up being Archangel. I don't know which costumes I'm going to draw for these characters. This is just the layout stage. I might do a certain era X-Men. Would probably have to be 90s to present day because I have Bishop and Gambit in here, and they were not in the X-Men in the 80s, so, or 60s or 70s. So it may be a mishmash of eras. It may be one specific era. Just don't know yet. Right now it's just figure out where everyone's going to go. That's the purpose of this broadcast. All right, so there's Angel. Or it could end up being Archangel. We just don't know yet. Work in the shape of the wings here. The generalized angel wings can play for both feather or blades, just depending on which way I go. How's it going, Colossus? Just tighten up your face there a little bit. Structure your head, chin. All right, so Angel, you made the cut. Let's see. Let's try. Whoa, we're using up battery. Let me see if I can plug in my charger here. Might have to zoom in a little bit so the cable reaches. This broadcast has taken longer than I thought. But you know, we've had a lot of thinking going on. This is what my brain has to do every time is think. This is why we say practice. You got to train your brain. A lot to think about. Drawing isn't just putting lines down on paper, but the thought process as well. So much to think about. So much. All right, so what if we put Iceman on an ice slide over this way? So he's cut, see, so we have Wolverine's mask going this way, Iceman's ice slide cutting this way. These are design elements that are kept in mind. Now, he'll be a little figure back here. Let's put this hand out that way. One leg up, one leg back. Got to be careful how his ice slide runs. I don't want it to run right to the top. See, I changed my line here because before I was going this way, that line would line up with Colossus's finger. Tangent, don't want that. No tangents. Sorry, no tangents. Don't want lines lining up like that. That's odd for our eye to look at. So maybe it's kicking back. He's swooping around. See, so I brought it down here and I thought, hey, what if we kick it back the other way? Creates motion. So there we go. We got Angel and Iceman. So all 5 original X-Men are now represented. So we can mark Iceman off the list. Where are you, Iceman? Iceman, right there. Okay, so who do I still have left that's on my list? Psylocke. Oh yeah, I forgot about Psylocke. Emma Frost, maybe. Polaris, Jubilee, Cable, Rachel. So we got some ladies we can still fit onto here. So these lines here are just kind of like, I'll put in these like tiered platforms. So it makes sense. Why are Gambit and Rogue all the way up there? Why is Magic up here? You know, so they're standing on these different tiered platforms. So let's see. How long did the New York Comic Con Psylocke piece take? So for those of you who weren't aware, I was at New York Comic Con. I did a piece for their New York Comic Con charity auction to benefit St. Jude's. I did a Psylocke piece, pen and ink and watercolor, 11 by 17. How long did it take? It took probably about a day or so. It's hard to remember. I did it several months back. As soon as I get the email from Mike Negan, I get right to work on it as soon as I can. So I probably had it done earlier this summer, but I can't remember how long it took by the exact number of hours. Let's see, I think I missed most of your question, but I think you're asking what size paper do we use for comics, to draw comics? 10 by 15 image area on an 11 by 17 artboard. And you can buy pre-ruled comic book artboard. Strathmore makes a good pre-ruled comic artboard. See, I'm going to put Psylocke back here, but I want to... what watercolor brand do I use? I use Daler Rowney sometimes. I use Winsor Newton sometimes. I just bought a Sakura brand one. I forgot what the kit was called. But yeah, those are some of the brands I use. Any tips to loosen up for sketching? Great question. Let's see. I would say a lot of that, for me personally, I can only speak from my experience. And usually when I give advice, it's only from my personal experience because that's all I really can say I'm an expert on is what I've experienced. So for me, to loosen up, it's not so much I got to loosen up my hand, it's loosening up my brain, my expectations. Sometimes I think we as artists can be so intent of, I got to do this a certain way that we tense up, we draw tightly, we're carrying so much in our hearts and our bodies, our spirit, our gut, that we're constraining ourselves. So a lot of it comes with just loosening up one's attitude, one's expectations. When you get that to get looser, you'll find that your lines flow more loosely. So keep in mind what is going on the inside. What are your expectations? Are you carrying unreasonable expectations? Are you shooting for perfection? I think we want to do things well and professionally, but perfection, as in perfectionism, can really be a toxic way of thinking. It's not to say don't strive to do excellence, but I think there's a difference between excellence and perfection. Low power, I thought I plugged in the battery here. Is that working? Hope that's working. Oh, maybe it's not. It's getting loose from the plug. Sorry, gang, technical difficulties. Working without a net, as usual. A net never shows up into the studio. But you guys, you longtime broadcast viewers, you know this. You know my struggles with working without a net. See, I don't like how Psylocke's hand was going into Dazzler's light show here. So I got to figure that out. Figure out something different. It might be the placement of Psylocke. Maybe I need to slide her over towards Rogue a bit more, is the fix. I need to put her in more of an action pose. I need to give her put a little more ninja on this Psylocke, yeah, that's what I'm drawing, Psylocke. Put a little more action on it. Not so static standing, but get her holding her sword, hair flowing off to the side. Now we're cooking with gas. So we're running out of space here. Only got room for a few more, so let's try putting Polaris up here. Gets us some green on this cover as well, even though it'll just be a little bit of green because it's Polaris way up there, but it's something. Of course, then again, we're putting green so close to Rogue, and I don't like that. Sorry, Polaris. Sorry. Love you, but we can't have. I don't want green on top of green. The only two characters wearing green and they're right next to each other, I don't like that visually. That does not make me happy. So, Polaris might not make this cover because of that one reason. Unless I put Polaris over here. I don't mind putting Polaris over here. And maybe that's the way to go. Got to get the right pose for her, though. I'm going to give her more of a almost Magneto-style pose. Kind of floating instead of flying in. Hands outstretched, hair flipping. This is a tiny Polaris. Hold me closer, tiny Polaris. My favorite Elton John song when he did the album of X-Men themed songs. Hold me closer, tiny Polaris. So good. So touching. All right. Just joining the stream. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Then we'll put Rachel Gray up over here. Definitely wouldn't, if I do different era costumes for each of the characters, hers will not be her green and yellow costume for the same reason of Rogue being right here. Don't want that much green concentrated in one place. And yeah, so pretty much I got everybody but Jubilee and Cable. Polaris, Rachel. Not to say I can't still put Jubilee and Cable in here, but I probably won't be able to put Jubilee and Cable here. How do you fill up a sketchbook? You draw. You keep drawing. Draw daily if you can. That's how you fill up a sketchbook. It's the only way to fill up a sketchbook that I can think of. Is just keep drawing in it. Keep on drawing. That's where the magic happens. You got a sketchbook? Draw. Fill it up. Don't make you don't. That's the nice thing about a sketchbook is that the sketches don't have to be perfect. Don't shoot for perfection. Strive for excellence, but put perfection out of your mind. I think it's an illusion that we trap ourselves with. Strive for excellence. Do the best job you can and then try to do better, but try to learn the difference between excellence and perfection. And then I think over the course of that journey you'll start to discover what the difference is. It's almost too difficult to describe, but it's what I believe. When I stopped trying to be perfect and just tried to do the best work I could, I found that my artwork started to grow and my skills started to grow better, faster. Doesn't mean we don't try to do our best work when we don't strive for perfection. We just strive to do things excellent, to master our craft, but I don't believe that perfection necessarily has to be a part of that equation. All right, I think I have filled this out, and there might be some edits that come during the pencil stage, but this is the layout stage for the time being. Holy moly, this took longer than I expected. That's why I knew I'd be breaking this up over the course of several videos. So as you can see here, we fit in, I'll have to count that up. I don't even know how many X-Men did we put on here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with Iceman, 7 Wolverine, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 X-Men currently. 19 X-Men on here. So that is a lot of X-Men. Holy moly. Let's do a little Q&A here to finish up the show. This is for fun. I might put it up for sale, but that won't be for a long time now because who knows how long it will be till it's done. Wow, we've gone for 84 minutes. Well, that's just what it takes to lay out a big multi-character piece. That's just scratching the surface what I've done right here. So let's flip around and do a little Q&A. Hey gang, how's it going? All right, so I'll just hold the camera here. I don't know if I can get it back into my rig with it plugged into the power cord. So if you had any questions, feel free to post it. I'll do my best to answer your questions. I'm actually exhausted. So much mental energy goes into drawing a piece like this, thinking about the characters, the shapes, their personalities, all those things I was discussing during the broadcast. Our brains are working hard, and that's just scratching the surface of what we do on a daily basis. So that's why we say practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice. You're tongue-tied. You got to not only train your brain, but your hand, your body to do work like this. When is the next Facebook broadcast? I don't know. In the future, hopefully sometime soon. I have Nate Gray hair. Yes, I do. I do have Nate Gray hair. I should do a Nate Gray cosplay sometime. But yes, I definitely have the Nate Gray streak there. People also call it my rogue streak. So that's natural too. That's natural gray right there. Would I be interested in drawing a Gambit Solo series if Marvel offered it? Sure, absolutely. Love Gambit. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes excellence. Yes, is another way I'd like to put that. So you gotta work. You gotta keep practicing so that you are physically and mentally trained to do this, because it is taxing. Even when you've done it for a lot of years, your brain works so hard. But that's the fun of it and the process of it. So that's why I wanted to show y'all this step of the process and what it takes to do a piece of with these many characters, and we just scratched the surface. It took us almost an hour and a half to lay it out. And so who knows how long it'll take to pencil it, to ink it, and to color it. But that's the fun of a broadcast. That's to hang out and do arts together. Gang, I want to say thank you so much. When did you start your career? Okay, here's some questions. I forgot we were going to answer a couple of questions. Let me answer a couple of questions. So if y'all have questions, start typing them in now. When did I start my career? I started it full-time in 1994, in the early days of Image Comics, when Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld discovered my college mini comics, and he liked them, and he hired me, and that's where I got my full-time break. I'd done a couple of small things before then, but it wasn't my regular career job at that time. 92 was when I did my first paid published work, and that was for Marvel. You drew the covers to All New X-Men? No, I did not. This is a sketch cover. Marvel puts out these blank covers, and people can get an original sketch on there. So this is just a fun sketch. This is not for print. What book am I working on? I just did Spider-Man Deadpool issues 21 and 22. Both are in stores now. And my Thor one-shot comes out this Wednesday. It's called Thor, Where Walks the Frost Giants. How did I learn perspective for backgrounds? I had a class on perspective at the Art Institute, and I learned 1, 2, and 3-point perspective. If you learn that, I'm sure you can find some blogs or some YouTube tutorials. Maybe I'll do one day. Once you start to learn that, drawing backgrounds gets a lot easier. Did I see the new Mutant trailer? No, I don't. I don't watch movie trailers. Not for movies of characters I want to see or I'm interested in seeing, like Star Wars or Marvel character movies, because you don't have to convince me to see those movies. I feel that trailers can give away too much information, personally. But I don't fault other people for watching them. I used to be a trailer watcher as well. But then I changed after Force Awakens when they did the Chewie We're Home moment. It's just like, oh, that was such a powerful moment. How much more powerful would that have been seeing it in the context of the story? So from then on, it's like, I ain't wasting my time watching these trailers no more. They're giving away awesome parts of the movie. Any tips on new artists? You suck and you want to draw Psych and Iceman. Tips on new artists or tips to new artists? Tips to give to new artists. Tips on new artists, I'd say there are a lot of new artists out there who do really cool work. I'd say tips, just draw every day. Just keep drawing. Draw Cyclops, draw Iceman. Even if they don't turn out right the first time, try drawing them again and again and again and again, and then you'll start to get it together. They'll start to come together for you, I should say. He-Man and She-Ra together in one drawing, and Superboy and Miss Martian together in another, both from their cartoon look, please. You'd really appreciate it. Well, something to keep in mind. Can't make any promises, though, but thanks for making the suggestion. Please do some background tutorials. I hope to do that sometime. 2 new artists. Oh, yes, 2 new artists. So hopefully that what I said there, Bobby, will help you. Who is my favorite X-Men? I would say Kitty Pryde. Is currently, and for the past many years, has been my favorite X-Man. She's awesome. What is my opinion on the art of Super Sons? Jorge Jimenez is awesome. Love Jorge's work. And he's a really cool guy, too. So he's drawing Super Sons, right? I'm thinking of the right book? Jorge? Yeah. Love Jorge's work. Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful work. Do I have specific drawing practices, like practice techniques? I don't. When I was a kid and I had after school art classes, they'd have us draw in our sketchbook eyes. Just draw eyes, just draw noses, just draw mouths, just draw ears. So that's one practice you can do, and another is just do quick sketches, do layout sketches, kind of like what I did here with the X-Men. So just do rough figure sketches. That's another thing. Well, they're called gestures, just getting the general shape of the character. Am I going to watch the new Punisher series? Not until I've watched the other Marvel series, so I might not ever get a chance to watch the Punisher series. I haven't even started with Deadpool, or Daredevil, I should say. I haven't even started with the Daredevil, so I haven't watched Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders. Haven't watched any of those. Least favorite X-Men? Don't know. I could say I have a least one. Which character would you draw from Watchmen? I don't know. Probably Rorschach. How long do you think you'll be in the comic industry? I hope for many more years to come. So I've had a great run at it so far. So much fun. So thankful for all I've gotten to do. I hope to do it for many, many more years. So yeah. Gang, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks so much for being here. I think y'all are awesome. Thanks for being so patient. And yeah, this is just part one of many more parts to come to get this X-Men sketch cover drawn. So the next broadcast will be sometime in the future. Set your notifications. I'm assuming you're all subscribed to my channel because y'all are all cool like that. You can go back to my page where it says subscribe. Click on the little bell there to the right. This is the sign for click. Click on that little bell next to the word subscribe, and you can set your notifications, and so that you can get an immediate notification anytime I post a new video or start a new broadcast so you don't miss out. Why would you want to miss out? Come on, we've already invested this far into it. Gang, thank you so much. I hope you all have an awesome weekend. And Spawn Part 3, the Copic color video, posts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Be sure you come back to check out that video. So yeah, hope you all had a good time, and I'll see y'all again real soon. All the best, everybody. Bye-bye.